Welcome back to the gun room. We are back out at the hide again today. We have got another pistol out for review. Huge shout out to Brian at Aim Surplus for sending this one out. But we've been kind of taking a look at some of the SCT framed Glock clones. And Aim Surplus, they keep a full supply of barrels, slides, SCT frames of all sorts of different colors, as well as different sizes. So they have the 43X, the 19, they also have the 17, and believe it or not, they even have slides for the Glock 34 clone, which I didn't know was a thing. So apparently I've been living under a rock, but nonetheless, I've seen this. And they were gracious enough to send this out to allow us to take a look at, along with the others that we have reviewed. So, same battery of arms for the SCT frame. I have put about 100 rounds through this so far, which I'll get to that here directly. The frame, I absolutely have no problem with. I really like the grip angle that they use with these, the undercut on the trigger guard, the front kind of the flat facing of the trigger guard is really nice. Memory pads on both sides. You can move these from side to side as far as your mag release goes. That's really my only point of contentment with the SCT frames is the magazine releases are very, very anemic from out of the package. They're very hard to pick up if you're trying to do this in a speed scenario for mag changes. You have to be very deliberate in where you're putting your thumb to fully actuate that magazine. Whereas the 17 here and the other SCT frames, I went ahead and put extended Glock components for the magazine as well as the slide. This one is unloaded as well. So it just makes it a lot easier. You just barely have to flick that magazine release and it goes shooting out. So I will ultimately do the same thing with this. I really would, if SCT is watching, please just put those in from the factory. They are not that much more expensive and you have a much better I guess functionality with that extended mag release because it's because I'm actually pushing it right there and it is not coming out. You have to really push that magazine release. So this is unloaded. Standard Glock battery of arms. It comes with Glock internal components, so you don't have to worry about that, as well as what's in the slide here. I picked just a standard barrel. It is target crowned. If you can see that, this is one of Aim's barrels, and I'll roll in some. This is the slide we used, so that's the part number for the slide. Here is the part number we used for the barrel, and all this is going to be over on our campsite page, so be sure to check that out. But went with the North Tac RMR footprint red dot on this one. It does come with just standard Glock polymer sights. We have a blacked out rear with a white dot in the front. This one does have the W1 cut on the top, save a little bit of weight, but overall very good. Now, one thing I can tell you, and I do plan on doing a final part where we're going to talk about every one of these models in unison together, but if you get one of these and you put it together and you take it out to the range, be prepared to put 75 through 100 rounds through it to get this thing broke in. Do not get mad after you've just put a couple of magazines through it and you're having some issues. I've noticed that some of these, this one especially, I had to get about 100 rounds through it before it was 100% reliable. And I'm equating that to probably the Cerakote and just the interface with the grip frame. But once I did that, I mean, it's good to go. It hasn't missed a beat. So we're going to get back. We're going to go to the hide, put a couple of magazines through this on steel. And since this is a 34, we're going to put it on the bench. I do want to shoot a couple of groups at 15 yards and just kind of see what kind of accuracy we can get out of this since it does have the longer barrel. You know, like I said, if you're in the market for something like this, I really think these are a great idea because you can pretty much custom tailor the look and the feel to however you want. If you want a slide with a red dot already able to be mounted, you know, you can do that. You can get the slides without the optic cut. If you want to do a 17, a 19, or a 43, they have all those frames available in a ton of different colors. So A lot of great value and a lot of choices. So it definitely is kind of like Glock Legos, more or less. But let's get the camera moved back to the hide, get some magazines loaded up, and start putting some rounds on steel. All right, so we got us a couple of magazines loaded up here in our Glock 34 clone. Going to put some rounds on steel and let you guys see this thing in action. Like I said, after I got about 100 rounds to this, it really slicked up nice. No problems as of yet after about 75-ish. So we'll see what happens with it together. Stand by. I'd be lying if I said I didn't really like this gun. This thing shoots absolutely amazing. Try next mag here, another 17 rounds. Ate those up. Like I said, if you decide to pick one of these up, which I highly encourage you do, for the price paid, you're getting a heck of a lot of pistol. Just be sure, go ahead and buy you 2 boxes of ammo, take it to the range. Go ahead and lube up this slide just a little bit with your favorite lubricant. Get it on there, rack it a few times, make sure everything's interfaced good. Put those 100 rounds through it, let it all get slicked up. And as you can see, it runs like a champ. So let's get back over to the bench. We're gonna put some rounds on paper and we'll get some final thoughts on our Glock 34 clone. All right, so we made it back over here to the bench with our Glock 34 clone. We're gonna try 2 5-shot groups at about 15 yards. Just shooting some 115 grain Blazer brass. Nothing special, but does seem to shoot pretty good out of most of my Glocks. So I figured we'd try that since I've got a little bit of a surplus of it. Now, this one here, it's done really well on the steel, so I fully expect it to hold a pretty good group on our paper. But stand by and you guys can follow along on the shot cam. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Let's try our next one here. Very nice. Okay, so let me run over, grab our target, and we'll get some final thoughts on our pistol. Okay, so here's our target from our Glock 34 clone. And you see our first group here, last group. That last group, you can definitely tell I was really starting to get into the trigger control on that pistol. The trigger is good. I mean, it's a little bit better than, I would say, a factory Glock. It's probably about 5 pounds. The brake on it is adequate. If you are looking at this pistol for possibly an entry-level comp gun, probably be a good idea to maybe swap the trigger out. But other than that, I mean, I think the accuracy is definitely there. Now, granted, this was off of a bench with a red dot, but for me, I will definitely take that. For all the configurations that they have available, the different grips, the different slides, barrel combos, I mean, they really got probably anything that you would want to custom tailor one of these guns, whether it be one of the 34s or the other models, to whatever it is that you're looking to do with the pistol. So that's pretty awesome. So be sure to check out our campsite page on that. And like I mentioned earlier in the review, after we got those first about 100 rounds through this gun, it is absolute butter. The slide, there's no rounds in it. I mean, it is slick. So give it a little bit of break-in time before you really make your mind up. If you try one of these, I think you're going to enjoy it. But as always, if you got any questions on this, please like, share, and subscribe. It really does help the channel. And as always, shoot straight. Later.